Welcome into NFL on 365 Sports. I'm your host, Grayson Grunhafer, and today I'm going to take you through all of the wild card matchups and give you some of my playoff predictions heading into this wild card weekend. So it's going to be exciting, ready for some more football, and finally, we're so close to a Super Bowl. So let's see which teams are going to get there. Let's do this. All right, everyone, the moment we've all been waiting for, the NFL playoffs, they finally start this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and then, of course, on Monday as well. So I'm going to give you my predictions for all the games this weekend. I'm going to try to give you some betting predictions as well. If you are into betting, maybe you can make some money off of this, and hopefully I can help you make some predictions. And also for those of you listening who are fans of these teams, it's an exciting time. You know, I think that I took it for granted for many years, but I'm a huge Colts fan. And I had to deal with sitting there and watching the Colts get demolished by the worst team in the league and miss the playoffs because of it. So I'm happy most of y'all had much better luck than I did this year. So without further ado, let's get going. So starting with the late afternoon game, 3:30 Central Time. The Raiders travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals are 6-point favorites. The over-under is 49 points. This is a good matchup. The Raiders are a team that I think everyone thought was just done. I mean, when they lost John Gruden, it just felt like their season was going to tumble and they were going to lose a bunch of games and therefore not make the playoffs. That hasn't happened. They've really rallied together. Derek Carr getting that team to the playoffs is one of his biggest accomplishments as an NFL quarterback. And they have a lot of momentum. On the other hand, the Bengals are kind of that shiny new toy that everyone's really excited about with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. And they're a team that hasn't had a lot of playoff success in their history, but are a team that seems like they're going to be in the playoffs for a long time going forward with these offensive weapons. So I really like this matchup. I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I think the Raiders are going to keep it close, but I do think the Bengals get a massive playoff win. I think Joe Mixon is going to be too much on the ground for the Raiders to deal with. So I like Cincinnati 31-27. I also like the over 49 points. I like that for both of these teams. I think they're going to be able to score some points, get up and down the field a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, the Bengals just have too much offensive weapons, and it's at home. So I like the Bengals to win this one, but I like the Raiders to cover. Moving on to the night game on Saturday, the Patriots travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. It's at 7:15 on Saturday night. The Bills are 4-point favorites. The over-under is 43 points. This is an interesting game. So, earlier in the season, they had that crazy wind game. I'm sure y'all remember that, where the ball was just getting blown all over the field. People were talking about, hey, try to kick an 80-yard field goal because there's a chance you might be able to break the record that night. Weird game. The Patriots won that one, but again, it really played into their favor, the fact that the Bills no one could really throw the football on that night. They played again a few weeks ago. The Bills won that matchup pretty convincingly, and I think I'm going to see more of the same in this matchup. And the reason I think that is simply the Bills have Josh Allen. I think their ability to throw the ball down the field is really going to bode well for them. I think the emergence of Devin Singletary as their running back is really going to help as well because the Patriots really struggle against the run. So if the Bills can actually run the football a little bit better, it should give them a great chance. I will say, though, the Patriots' run game and ability to absorb the clock is something that really scares me about this matchup. They can run the ball. They can really take away possessions. But at the end of the day, I'm going to trust the quarterback. So I like the Bills to cover. I think they're going to win this one 23-17. I really think they're going to cover the 4-point spread. I feel pretty good about that. I don't have a take on the over-under 43 points. I'm probably staying away from that. But I do think the Bills cover and they win this game. Moving on to Sunday. At noon, the Eagles travel to Tampa Bay to take on the defending Super Bowl champs, the Buccaneers. The Bucs are 8.5-point favorites, 49-point over-under. Here's my simple take on this. The Eagles can really only run the football, and the Bucs are an elite run defense. That is a problem for the Eagles. I am curious how the Bucs look without Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown in the playoffs. They struggled in one game, looked better in the next game. But I think overall, missing Chris Godwin especially is really going to hurt this team, I think, going forward and maybe in future rounds. But I don't think it'll matter for this round. I like the Bucs to win this one, 30-17. I think they cover. I'm not crazy confident on it just because 8.5 points is quite a bit, but I do think the Bucs win this game pretty easily. 49-point over/under, probably staying away from that. I think that's kind of a foolish bet just because they're two good defenses. They want to run the football. I would probably be on the under, but not going to have a bet on that. But I do like the Bucs to cover and win this game and advance. Super Bowl champs will advance through this weekend, and that would be probably if you're going to pick any of these games straight up and you just want to put a bet out there, straight up bet, I would put the money on the Buccaneers. I think they're just the better football team in this matchup. At 3:30 p.m., the 49ers travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 3-point favorites, 51-point over/under, and this is my upset of Wild Card Weekend. I think the 49ers go into Dallas and they get the win. And so it has to do with quite a few things, but the first I'll say is I think the 49ers are trending in the right direction. They've won 7 of their last 9 games while giving up an average of 18 points per game. Their defense has finally picked it up. Their running game continues to improve as they've gotten healthy. You know, with Elijah Mitchell in the fold, they've been a much better running football team, and the rookie is going to continue that trend against the Cowboys this weekend. Those wins for the Rams during this stretch of 7-2 football includes 2 wins over the Rams, a road win over the Bengals, and a close road loss to the Titans in a game in which they did not have Elijah Mitchell. So again, I like the trend here. I like the 49ers. I think they're going to win this one 27-24. So I would take them with the points. The over-under, staying away from 51, just seems like a really tough number, as you can tell. I have the score 27-24, which is right on that line. So I would stay away from that, but I would take the 49ers if I were betting on that game. The night game, the Steelers travel to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites, 46.5 over/under. The Chiefs demolished the Steelers a few weeks ago, 36-10. So you would probably sit there and say, okay, they're probably going to do it again. But again, this is the opportunity for the Steelers to play a team they just played recently, got blown out by, a chance to recover, regroup, and try to get things back together. And while I think the Steelers are the worst team in the playoffs, I still think they have a defense that can slow down the Chiefs a little bit. I think they have an offense that can at least play a little bit of ball control football with their run game with Najee Harris, which means I think this game will be closer than the 12.5 points. Even though I think the Chiefs do win comfortably. I got the Chiefs 27-16 over the Steelers. I like them to cover. The 46.5-point over/under, staying away from. These are two teams that have actually been built on the defensive side of the football all year long. I know that's crazy to say for the Chiefs, but it's just the fact of the matter, and I think that trend continues. Again, the Chiefs do win this game, but I think it might be closer than that 12.5-point spread. Finally, on Monday Night Football in the playoffs, a really special matchup. I think this is going to be a really, really good one on Monday Night Football. But the Cardinals travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Rams are 4-point favorites, 49.5 over/under. This is going to be a fun game. I am taking the over. The first 2 times these teams played, the Cardinals won one, the Rams won the other, but in both games, they scored 57 points and 53 points. So I think they're going to do it again. They're going to cover that over. So I would definitely be on that. Kind of a key stat to watch here. The Cardinals are 8-1 at home, but they're 3-5 on the road. That's a bad trend when you're going on the road in the playoffs. I think the Rams are going to win this one. I think the Rams are going to cover the 4-point spread, and I think the final score will be 33-24. I think Matthew Stafford gets the win. Cooper Kupp goes off, and I think kind of a hidden part of the equation really is that the Cardinals have lost 4 of their last 5. And really, since DeAndre Hopkins got hurt, they just have not been the same team. And I know Hop wasn't having an amazing season, but he was such a focal point of the offense, especially in the red zone. It's really hurt them. And now James Conner's been banged up. Chase Edmonds has been banged up. They're relying on Christian Kirk and A.J. Green a ton. Antoine Wesley as well. I mean, it's just kind of you're throwing pieces together and hoping that it works. They might get Rondale Moore back, which should help. But again, this offense has really struggled without Hop, and I think that continues. I like the Rams to get this win and to cover the 4-point spread. And that is actually my favorite bet of the week, is Rams covering that 4-point spread and getting the win and advancing to the next round of the playoffs. So those are my playoff picks. Lots of really good matchups. I think it's going to be a really fun weekend in the wild card matchups. And next week, we'll cover the next round of matchups and see who's going to advance to some conference championships. I mean, it's going to be a really exciting time. We're getting closer and closer to the Super Bowl. But for NFL on 365 Sports, I've been your host, Grayson Grunhafer, and enjoy the football this weekend.